All right. Good evening, everybody. This is a game that I've talked about a lot, and it sometimes gets tacked on to just other broadcasts and that. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to just sort of have a look around this game. This is Dombrov baseball sim. Really, what this is it's a digital conversion of Sports Illustrated baseball. It's a one man effort. Definitely, you can tell we're not looking at something here like out of the park baseball or anything like that. But I really think this is a pretty good baseball game. I do. I think Richard's done a good job. I know that he was at one time, big time user in Action PC baseball. Updates have been, fairly not. I would say fairly frequent, but it's keeping the game updated. In fact, this is the first digital baseball game that has the whole 2025 season available, and that was made available last year. Pretty good stuff. So we're just going to kind of walk through it a little bit. I have the sound turned off on it, and there's Jack Dawson. He says, "Good evening to Brother Beatles," and good evening to Brother Jack Dawson. So, Jack, you have this game, but we talk about it a little bit, see some of the things that you can do. There's lots you really can do in this game, um, and we'll talk about some other things about some improvements that I think could be made. Essentially, pretty cosmetic that have to do with the user interface. But it's not bad. So I did change the opening screen, which you can do, thank God, because the other opening screen, or the main opening screen the game ships with, kind of a badass trip. But we'll get into that later. But there is you can try this for free, which is really nice, and it's pretty much fully functional. There's a couple missing features, but you can play the free version for as long as you want. And if you decide to buy the game, it is $35 now. So I bought the original version of this back in the day, and I will say again that it had a much better interface back then, much better looking. But there's a lot that this game does. There's a couple things that this game does that other baseball games, other digital baseball games, simply do not do. Um, you are going to see some color clashes, especially red and green. That's not the fault of the developer. Rather, that's the way Sports Illustrated baseball is. Right now, there are two ways to play Sports Illustrated baseball digitally. Soon there will be three. So there's this one, which is the most mature of all the projects. There's one being developed by Mark Annison, um, SI Baseball, which looks pretty good. But and then it seems that next year in Digital Diamond Baseball, or this year, I should say, in Digital Diamond Baseball, Mark Cohen will be adding Sports Illustrated Baseball. Now, will it be a complete implementation? I don't know, but this one is. So let's go through it and what you can do. So there's lots of seasons available for this. The good news is you can create your own seasons. Um, you don't have to buy seasons. You can download everything that you need. Pretty easy to do, and ready to go. And we'll show you how to do that. We're not going to do some of the more esoteric things, but I do want to show you just when you're creating seasons how you can do it using baseball reference. So you have a number of different choices for which you can create projects, create season replays. But again, there's just plenty to download. Nearly 100 seasons. There's that a lot of extra really cool stuff. And This is good. So it really is. And I mean, bearing in mind that really before this game came out, before Dombrov Baseball came out, and I believe it was 2012 or something like that, or 2013. I can't remember exactly the year that the original of this came out. The only way you could play Sports Illustrated Baseball was if you had the physical board game. That was pretty much it. So, props to Richard Dombrowski for doing this port. But it's not just a port. He's really added a lot to it. Um, so rather than just something like StratMax, let's say, for instance, which is basically the digital version of Stratomatic Baseball, this actually has normalization effects in it and stuff too that will affect gameplay, which is really neat. And so for an adaptation or a translation of a cards and dice game, This does some things that the other game that no other game, a digital game that I know does. That is a an adaptation of a cards and dice game, which I think is really really cool. So obviously up here we can play a schedule game. So right now I have the Ultimate All Time All Stars. And we're going to talk about how many different types of All Time All Stars projects there are just available for you to download and just play in this game. And I'll be showing you. I have the download page all set up, and there's a reason why. But you can also set your active seasons. So we'll start there. Right now, these are just a few of the seasons that I have. And right here, you can see you have modern All Stars. You have the All Time All Stars oldies. This is actually, and then there's the All Time All Stars updated. So this originally, it was about 1971, 1972, whatever came out, had an All Time All Stars. That was one of the things that came with it. You also had the 71, 72 season. And I'm talking about the board game. Okay. But there's a lot here. So right now I just have this set at Ultimate um, All-Time All-Stars. Okay, so that is our active season. We could play a scheduled game. So we click on that, and there we go. So if we were to play a game right now, here's on the calendar for April 2nd of whatever, this is set to. So Mets, Reds, White Sox, Orioles, Yankees, Royals, and Red Sox and Angels. So you can also quick play things like that. You can run your quick play minimize. So unlike a game, say like National Pastime 3, which is a game that makes you play every game, you don't have to do that in this one. So another thing here that you can go into is team management profile. And this is where you start getting into really the depth of this game. And it really, really is very, very deep. So just looking here we'll just start with the Atlanta Braves. You can pick any ballpark you want, and you can see already this comes with an absolute crap ton of ballparks. I mean, I'm scrolling back. Dombrov baseball. Jack Dawson said it was a good game, but he's trying to hopefully decrease the screen size for strategy baseball. So yeah, we're going to talk about we'll talk about the sort of we'll get into the cosmetics of this game a little bit later. So again, you got lots of ballparks. These were already, it comes with the game. And I mean, if I didn't want the Braves, so right now it's set to be 1957 County Stadium. So what's neat is, if you were playing, let's say like in our Michael McGreevy League, which is coming, guys, it's coming, and somebody, said, oh, I wanted 1911 Polo Grounds, and we were playing it in this game. I can just go up. So you have like park effects per year in this, which I think is really cool. Something that you're going to see in action PC baseball too. You can, of course, road colors, home colors. So I do think that there's a lot of or there's at least some inspiration, and why not? Since imitation is a serious form of flattery, so there is kind of if you're comfortable with action PC baseball, there's a lot about this game that you're going to be comfortable with. You can also have the United States has a Canada anthem and other. You can import your own game sounds if you want. You can decide to. You don't have to check this. You could have a team being humor managed, computer managed, or choose neither, and then you can just play any game that you want, which is really nice. Go here. If I want to select a different, thing for the Braves, maybe I'll just pick this one because I don't like that gray background there. I think that looks a lot better. Pretty simple, right? And so you can rename, so team full name, you can do whatever there. The other thing, just in this screen, and we're just in profile right now, if we look at the charts, this is where we got to stop and talk about the red and the green. This is, again, not the fault of Richard Dombrowski. This was a really, really bad choice that whoever, I forget who made sports, I think this was Avalon Hill. This was a really bad design decision because there are folks out there that's, the red green colorblind, and besides, that's just very garish looking. I designed this game, I would have gone with like, a black, white, and gray, or make it at least for the digital game. It would be nice to see if Richard could make this kind of a little bit user definable. for people, because I think it's a little painful looking. But again, that's not his fault. So up here, all of these things here, you can see these are dice rolls and these are results for each of these players. We'll show you, or I'll show you the cards, the actual player cards later. They look really, really nice. But this is just a quick look. And for those of you that are wondering, no, you do not need to know how to play SI baseball to play this game, because you can play it strictly just as a baseball sim. And SI baseball is running under the background, being really, really just kind of quiet. So you've got basically the color coding for the hitters has to do with handedness. And then, so see, we'll just look here at Hank Aaron. So right-handed, he's green. So right-handers are green, lefties are red, switchies are yellow. Pretty much that's how you do that. Then anything here that you see that's in red is just not a nice thing, right? These are bad. Red is good. Okay, pretty much that's it. And then yellow is going to be how you're going to get on base. Usually yellows are just walks. Okay, walks versus strikeouts, or walks followed by strikeouts versus lefties versus righties. You can see this. So you can see just how your players can do. So this is pretty nice. You can look at their probability. And this I think foreshadows what we see in action PC baseball with the batter pitcher matchup. Where you can see there is no. This is just how they're sort of generically going to do versus the percentage of hits here. You can see versus lefties versus righties. So percentage for a hit, a home run, single, double, triple, percentage of walks and hit by pitch, strikeout percentage, things like that. And then you can actually look at stats. So these stats here, it will track stats while you're playing. Now, I don't know, Paul Fay would probably want to know this, whether this will export to Excel, anything like that. I don't know. There's cousin Ken Castro. How you doing? And there is Parallel League. He says, all you need is glove. That really counts. And maybe a little help for your friends in the dugout. Good evening, Beatles, he says. And good evening to you, Parallel League. How you doing, man? So another nice thing I've got to point out about this game, too, is if you want to really, it has pretty good context-sensitive help. So when I click this little question mark up here, this is going to tell me pretty much what I'm looking at. It's got a good help system to it. There's a sneak peek at one of the cards. So this is not what the cards looked like when the game was released. The cards and dice game, they didn't look this clean. They didn't have the player photos. So these are really, really nice. But again, dice-based game. It uses a special kind of dice, but they're easy enough to make yourself if you want. You'll probably find them on eBay. But what I tell people, look, if you want to, because you can roll your own dice and input the result in this just by looking up the charts. Very, very simple. But you can buy blank dice on eBay for like super, super cheap. And then you can just easily make your own SI dice. If you're the kind of person you want to roll them up and put them in here, you can do that. And, or if you want to use, Pocket Pennant Run, you can just customize your dice in there, click and boom, just enter however you want to do it. But you can put in your own dice. All right, so let's go ahead and close this. What's really, really important is this sort of thing. So is to get out of there. Sometimes you hit the close button. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, right? So down here we can look at pictures. Again, it's going to track stats. We can look at let's look at pictures. All right, and we're looking at pictures. I believe we're looking at their cards right now. Yep. No. Okay, we don't want to do that. Let's go back to wherever we were here. Geez, oh yeah, here we go, charts. Okay. So again, we can look at probability, and you got to keep hitting pictures as you go back. We can look at cards, and I keep hitting cards. That's not what I want to do. And we can look at stats, and there we can just look at all their stats. Again, everything that's tracked here. And we're just scratching the surface. Lots. Pay dirt dice. Okay. So pay dirt dice work with this, or is that what you're saying? Shackist, let me know, man. All right, so there's that. Now you can go. Now we can go into our lineup screen. I do not want to save changes. So there's your lineup screen, and you can create new lineups. You can also use retro sheet lineups. So if you wanted to, if you were all about that, you could just go to retro sheet. It's going to download and import retro sheet lineups. So really nice. One of the nice things this game does is it works really seamlessly with baseball reference with retro sheet. So that's good. That's very, very good. So, but here's your for your starting lineups. We can look at depth charts here. So to view a player's depth chart, we can click on the position, and pretty nice here. Now we can see the depth chart for third base, for instance. If we go to left field, center, so you get a lot of information on this in this game, which is really, really nice and pretty convenient too. So look at here for catchers, and if God forbid DHs, and who you might want to go for pinch hitters and stuff. So that's pretty cool. We can look at starting rotation. So the starting rotation has defaulted here for the Braves: Maddox, Spawn, Smoltz, Negro, and Glavine. Not too damn bad, right? Not too damn bad. Let me see. Who do we have here? Coming out of the pen: Garber, Glavine, Sane, Tyler, and Barnes. And then your closers and setups. And all of these, so it's Don McMahon, Steve Bedrosian. So there's Clinton Parks. He says he has it. Black 1, 2. So there you go, guys. Yep, black. Yeah, black 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. Yep, those are the SI dice exactly. So if pay dirt football looks like they'll work. So if you have that game, but if not, pretty easy to just look right there, and you can see just pick up, just get a blank black die, a blank white die, or two blank white dice, and just put those numbers on there. They don't even use dots; they use numbers, and then you can go to town that way. But what impresses me about this game, again, is just how you can get in depth look at at everybody, right? So we can do versus left no DH, right? Versus so let's go down here and let's go versus right with no designated hitter. So now we see Chipper Jones is making it into the game, as is Fred Tenney and Ralph Garr, right? And then you can create lineups with DHs and then save them. But again, the retro sheet import is really, really, really cool. All right. Now I should probably go to the Pittsburgh Pirates because there we go. So I want to see how it does there. So for the Bucks, there we go. We got Hannes Wagner, and good to see Max Carey in the starting lineup and what have you. And let me see if we've got versus right and no DH. So it does switch it up a little bit, but you're free to change whatever you want to change. Okay, if we go to our roster screen here, so we can see here all their average, like their player ratings and things like that. So we can say position column is fielding rating at positions. PU columns, P indicate player is draft protected. So an I indicates that he's inactive, and so on. I'm not going to read all this stuff to you. What's really nice about this, though, is you're not going to be kind of stuck like, what the hell do I do here? You have all the information that you need. Okay. You can look at player profiles and stuff like that if you want. So we're just looking at Smokey Burgess. We can choose his image. You can you can actually get his baseball reference player image if you want. But you can also you download images for this thing. It's really, really easy. They don't have actual data, so let's just click no. We'll load in a season to show you some of this. Let's go ahead and close Smokey's card. You can also edit players. So if you feel, right, you're actually, so this is really interesting, right? Because you're actually, when you do your edits, you're actually going to be editing the play results in the card. There's no cards and dice game that does a digital translation or cards and dice game that does this. So I would say though that you really need to know the Sports Illustrated rating system for this game. And there's a great Facebook group called SI Baseball that talks about charts and things like that. While there is a Delphi forum for this, it's not terribly active, unfortunately. But it has a pretty decent player community to it. I like it. I've got to say that when Richard released this game, and Clinton and I were among the first people to buy the game, the digital game, when Richard came out with the big update, um, whenever that was, 2019, 2020. For those of us who bought it, we got the game, the update free, and it was massive. It was a massive rework of the game. But so when you make these changes, that's going to change these results here. So that's pretty cool. Again, depending upon how deep you want to get into things. Okay. And remember, every screen has a context sensitive help. So there we go. So you're actually not only editing the player, but you can also edit, as I said, you're editing the charts for both hitters and pitchers. So that's pretty significant. And yes, you can create your own players in this game too, by the way. All right. So um, there it is. There's a create player. So you can import from the Laman or baseball reference. So you have a choice. So for a lot of games, right, the Sean Laman database really, really changed the landscape of digital baseball. Big time. It opened it up, really, because, before you would have games like full count baseball, which now, thanks to the continuing work that they're doing on that. Now all the seasons are available, but that wasn't the case before. And with Micro League Baseball, if you had the general manager's desk, you would have to still, right? You would have to input all those players. That would be the same with Earl Weaver, and of course with Earl Weaver baseball, you better know how to do phonetic spelling on a computer, or the Stephen Hawking announcer would come up with something really bizarre. The Sean Lyman database changed everything, everything, everything. And it was all of a sudden you just saw, the whole landscape changed where, I mean, you still do have, obviously, Action PC, Diamond Mine, where you got to buy seasons, but you started seeing Out of Park Baseball, right? And Pure Sim using that database. And this also does. But I will tell you that if you really want to get deep with this thing and you want to import seasons, maybe you don't like the ones they've done so many. But the baseball reference import is really cool because it's actually going to also do defensive stats by position. So this game really takes into account not only, I mean, defense kind of always gets sort of short shrift, I think, in baseball. This does an excellent job with defensive ratings. And again, if you don't agree with them, change them. But let's go ahead, and we could create anybody we want right here too. So pretty cool about that. We look at this, create manually, create a batter, create a pitcher. Let's create a batter so we can give him a name, da 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 da, save him, and then we can actually go in, do his data. I'm not going to do that right now, but and you can do all these things that you can do with it if you want to create a player. I mean, I don't know why you would want to, but some people want to. Okay, so and again, we can Clemente. Let's look at um, here's the cards. The cards are going to look really, really nice. There he is. There's the great one. There he is. There he is. You can, down there, you can see his versus lefty versus righties chances and stuff like that. So kind of nice. And again, you don't need to see this to play the game, but it's pretty cool. Click on, again, probability to see all that kind of stuff. All right. Let's go ahead and close that. So we've gone some pretty deep stuff here. Now let's go into league and season tools. And this is really, really the big, to me, the heart of the program. This is where you customize everything outside of players and just like the cosmetics, like your ballparks and things like that. Okay. Um, and I really like this. I really have to say that I like this. Um, so you can decide, you're setting up your league. You want to use ballpark effects, and do you want to use year effects? Do you want to use defensive eras? I've not seen that in any other digital baseball game. So shout out there. So defensive eras for this. You can use or not use a pitcher stamina rule. You can use a moderate pitcher stamina rule. You can use the yellow X injury rule, which I just leave that checked. I don't know what that exactly means. And I'm guessing it's going to maybe sort of tell me. You can run through here and see all that stuff. And I know you can find the rules for Sports Illustrated Baseball pretty much out there. But I'll tell you what, I've been playing this game and I've never had to really look at the rules. Do not cause errors from outs, special error results. You can see there's a lot that you can turn on and off here. Even roster sizes, you can limit them if you want. Okay. You can have home field advantage, which I don't really care about that kind of stuff, but you can. So, and this is just rules and settings for this particular league that we're doing. So this is where you're going to set DH. For computer manager settings. Our computer managers, are they going to factor in the actual usage of a player? So this is going to be especially nice for season replays. Should ignore scheduled lineups. Here's the ghost. Here's of course the modern stuff that I don't care about, but some of you do. So like the extra inning ghost runner and the runner's position. You could even change that to third base or put them on first if you wanted to, right? The you can use the minimum uh, batters faced, which the default I guess is 3, isn't that now in modern baseball? But you can set that to just 1 or up to 5, or just to keep it turned off altogether. You can also decide pitcher rest, and you can set this to whatever pretty much whatever you want, as you can see. Um, so, good God, there's all of that. Okay, and then do you assign player images for all batters and pitchers within season? Blah blah blah. And it will say we'll assign images based on image file name matching the player name and also the team ID when included in the file name. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not worried about that. But if you want to get a little bit more accurate and you want so and so when he was playing, like if you want Rogers Hornsby when he was a Cardinal rather than Rogers Hornsby was a Cub, it will attempt to do that, which is pretty cool. Samuel Smith says Dombrov said he considered graphics improvements. The idea sounded cool. I'm guessing we'll get a totally new rewrite or the same exact program, no in between. Yeah. Um, again, I think it is, man, it's a good baseball game. And it's just, and I just wish Richard would understand that cosmetically and user interface wise, there are some issues with it that just need to be cleaned up. But it's a good baseball game, and it's worth $35. It's worth $35. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you how much I like this game. I couldn't find my original setup for it, and I just couldn't be arsed to write Richard because I didn't know when I'd hear from him. So I just bought it again. So why not? I just bought it again, and I have it, and I still have the original version on my other computer. So yeah, I spent $35 the other night. Have it again. I'm happy. I'm fine. I don't think it's wasted money at all. Okay. So again, you can have it. You can have it assigned the home ballparks. Just boom, just do it. So, and it's going to try to do that matching up by the club name and thing like that, which we'll see in when we're doing it when I show you the season import. So it's a little faster in that way than Action PC Baseball. We're going to get to some weak points, and since Samuel brought it up, let's do it right now. There's no way to scale these fonts. You can't. Unfortunately, you got, and I don't understand it. So there's all this wasted space, and just with an advanced degree that I have, it has to do with instructional design, and you guys know I have a master's in education and all that, and turned down a doctorate. But my specialty is instructional design and user interface, things like that. And this breaks pretty much every rule. And you need to have you need to make your user interface scalable. It's too dense. It's up here. It would be nice to have, like on some of the screens, right? Right, he has this call out checkbox to use catcher O rating. Well, people know what that is. So rather, what I would say is okay. What does this mean? Have a little call out. All you got to do. Pretty simple to do that. So there's much to like about this game, but there's some things that need improving. And this certainly the font scaling is just not good. It's not good. And people I know were complaining about that with pocket pennant run baseball. It's the same issue here, except it's a little bit worse. That said, though, I do like the game and I would suggest it. All right, so we're just going to rule settings. All right, now we're going to go to profile. So this is pretty much where you're going to make just changes to the whole league structure, what have you. Okay, clicking here isn't going to. We can import some teams. We can delete teams out of here. We can create a team. We can view and edit year effects if we want. So, and again, so just like you're going to find in Action PC Baseball and a lot of others, not only are you going to find all these years either down by league or combined, but up here you could just do a decade average if you want, which is really kind of cool too, if you're doing that sort of project. But or you can do it by era, dead ball. There's a ton of eras here, so pick what you want, and you can have fun. You can view and you can edit year effects. You can actually edit them if you want to whatever, if you think, oh, well, I don't think they quite have 1950 right. Okay, well, change it. Or maybe you can just have it normalized to something else. Okay. So you're not really locked in to what's in the game. Richard pretty much says, okay, here you go. Just use it. This all-time All-Stars also has some Negro League, two Negro League teams, which is really, really cool. Pretty nice. And then, so this is all just kind of the cosmetic thing. Okay. Let's go to leagues and divisions. So this is where you can move teams around wherever you want them. I'm not going to move them. I like them where they are: Cubs, Expos, Mets, Phillies, Pirates, Cardinals, yada, 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 yada. But I can move them just by selecting the team and then selecting the division, and it will move them. This has a pretty good scheduler on it, by the way. So you can, of course. So the first thing a lot of people ask, well, can I use actual schedulers? Yes, you can. Right here it is, retro sheet schedules. You just click that, and you're going to get schedules. Really, really nice. It will generate a schedule if you want. So for something like this, an all-time All-Stars, obviously you probably want to do that. So it's also going to give you a schedule report here, and we can see everything is balanced. If we open up the Pittsburgh Pirates here, oops, looks like we made them disappear. Oh, there we go. There we go. So, and this is going to show you how many games are going to be playing against other teams. So there's no, in this particular league, there's no interleague play. So in divisional play means something, which is really, really nice. Okay. So we don't have to go through, but if we hit retro sheet lineups, again, you go to the retro sheet webpage. You can also have a folder if you have a local folder. If you're crazy enough to save all the retro sheet lineups, you could go there or just go to the webpage. And it's going to go there, and boom, there you go. There's all the lineups from 1901 to 2025. So again, first season replay, I think that's pretty nice. This has a draft mode. So I'm not going to activate it, but you can see if, can I move this out of the way? Yes, I can. Good. All right. So again, number of rounds, you can do, what type of draft that you want to do, and just go for it. It's a really nice drafting tool. Okay. And then finally we go to tools. So you can manually create a season. You can create a workflow from a local database that you have. So it's not going to be picky. If you have a good local database that you're using that isn't Lamin or whatever, there you go. Create a season using the Baseball Reference website. So this is long. This is kind of long, a longer process, but I think it does a fantastic job. If you're willing to do it, this is going to give you a lot more than the Sean Lamin Baseball Reference database, or the Lamin database by itself. It does say Baseball Reference, but you can just do, or you can download it. I'm sorry. But from here, this will hook right to the website, just like you saw it do with RetroSheet. and it's going to do all that work. And sometimes you have to change some team designation names, but that's it. If you have some teams that you've created, let's say in Baseball HQ, Paul Fay's Baseball HQ, you can import teams from Excel because that will export to that format. So you're good there. Setting active seasons. Again, here's the import season. So I'm going to show you about importing seasons. So there's two ways to do that. And we'll just go ahead and click import season. So you can create an import folder where you can just download the seasons to and then just install them when you want, or you can go right to the website, sort of. And I'll tell you why I say sort of. Because once the season name for the import, then press enter key. That's not bad. That's nice. But let's bring up the Dombrov website. Because there's so many seasons in here, but there's some missing. There's some missing, especially when you get back, no surprise here, from the dead ball era, unfortunately. But let's have a look at these seasons that are available for this game. And there's really quite a lot. Okay. So there's an all-time all-star season. That's not the one I'm showing you, though. Okay. This is the original Sports Illustrated all-time all-stars. So these are players from 1900 and 1970 with just the 16 original. So you might almost think of this as the bat set plus 10 years, right? The pre-expansion set. So, which is pretty cool. So then there's the all-time all-stars oldies. So this is just 1900 and 1959. So this would be equivalent to the APA bats pre-1960, the pre-expansion. And then you've got modern. And I think this is probably going to be more of interest to folks in this community, more than that one. So this is 1960 to now. So again, very much similar to what APA is doing. Then you have the all-time all-star. This is pretty cool. This ATAS 62 season. New take on all-time all-stars designed by Richard Hughes with some adaptations for Dombrov baseball sim by Richard Dombrowski. 20 teams that were around for the 1962 season. The rosters have 25 all-time players, like the ATAS, but includes from past to present. Uses the 1962 as planned schedule DH rule used by entire league and ballpark effects from the 1962 season. So this would be kind of like if you really wanted to get out there and do some weird stuff, you got it. There's an all-time all-stars global, which actually brings in players from Japan and also 19th century players. So there's the ultimate ATAS. That's the one that I'm using right now. And it uses the 1984 as planned schedule. Again, you can just generate. Okay. Then you've got all-time all-stars 2. We can just keep going and going and going. It's pretty crazy. And again, you see chart editing by Richard Dombrowski. So again, I think that if you wanted to get that deep with this game and start editing cards, really try to find a guide before you do that, because, could be crazy. So what else do we have here? We have some great teams of the past. So here, this is a really, really nice one, I think, for doing a draft league. So there's 62 teams, the entire 20th century, World Series pennant winners, all of this for free. So when you look at competing products that sell things like this, the least expensive would probably be actually PC Baseball, but I've seen other. So in other words, to get 62 teams, for instance, in Diamond Mine Baseball is going to cost you a hell of a lot more than free. These are the 100 win teams. Pretty good stuff. Top teams of the expansion era. This just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But what I wanted to show you why it's a good idea to see what's available is, all right, so it jumps from 1901 to 1906. So let's say I wanted to bring in 1903, right? Well, I'm not going to be able to do 1903. If I do that, if I try to get 1903 just by downloading it from in the game, I'm not going to be able to. So you kind of have to know the season. If they don't have it, right, you're going to have to actually create the season. Easy enough to do. They don't have 1903. But I do know that I don't have 1908 on here. So it says download 1908 season, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put the season name here. You can call it whatever you want, but we'll just say 1908 season. We'll just call it season replay. Okay, and then we'll hit enter. And then because you have to know what that game is or what that name is. That's the only reason it's good to have the website up. And then I'm just going to go down here and I'm going to look for 1908. And there it is. Boom. And there, it's the season's been created. It's ready to go. It's that simple, real fast. And then I can set that active season to 1908. Boink. And you can see it's been added. So when we started, this wasn't here. Click OK, and it's there. It's ready to go. And I'll show you that in a little bit. I'll show you that now, actually. So let's go ahead and close. All right. And we can play an exhibition game. So Brooklyn and the Cubbies. Now, you might want to, this is not what the Cubs logo looked like. So when you get further back, you're not going to get the proper, you're going to have to change some logos. I don't even know what's going to do with ballparks here, to tell you the truth. It's probably going to have Wrigley Field, which would be wrong. Yep. Actually, I don't know why it's got Sportsman's Park there, which is even worse. So we're not going to play a game right now. So just know for earlier seasons, you're going to have to really do some work. But let's set a different active season here. I think I have something in here that's not all time. Yeah, 1976. There we go. And if we do an exhibition game, so it's easy to move around in this game. Red Sox, Tigers. And if we play an exhibition game, I have the sound turned off in this game. There we go. So there we go. We got Tiger Stadium. These are the proper logos. You can mess with your lineups, and we're just going to do this. So play Red Sox at Tigers. Except for that, sorry, that's supposed to be off. So hold your ears for a second. Good God. Thank God it doesn't do. That's really bad. So Brother Breeders connect and share. Thank you, Jack. It's really cool of you. All right, so we're in the game. And again, you can use other ballpark images, by the way. You don't need to use the ballpark images. But that being said, if you don't want to go out and hunt around for things, which I think another cool thing that Richard's done is you can go to this download baseball sim images and you can get everything that you need, the ballparks and that for Windows or for Macs. This runs Windows and Mac, which is really nice. And again, you can try this game out for free, which is real cool. Here's your lineups. So we got Bob Montgomery and we got Dave Roberts on the mound. You don't get anything. You just when you hover over there and double click whatever, all you get is just their little picture. That's it. Here are the dice rolls up here. And then if we go to settings, yes, there's even more settings, which is really cool. So you can play this with team charts. You can do this just strictly as a baseball sim. This does use speech. So for Aaron Reed, this would be good because you can have it use the narrator, Microsoft Narrator. I've turned off gameplay sounds because I don't like them. There's the manual dice roll. So if I click that, you can do that. You can also have dice roll sounds. Set the animation speed, all that. Here you can scale up the fonts. So it's not like you can't do it anywhere. So let me close this. So you'll see here that's a much larger font. This was originally a size 11 font, which was just not enough. Now, let's talk about a couple things here that are problematic. One of them, in fact, we'll get back into a game in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and close this because I've been singing this game's praises, but we now have to talk about some of the issues that this game has. Okay, so if we go to park settings, for instance, now a lot of us bemoan the fact that in action PC baseball, for instance, and the reason again I'm talking about that is because Richard, in fact, did an all-time a franchise great set for action PC baseball, and I have it somewhere. But you know how you have to drag, drag all the positions around and stuff like that. This you don't, but there is something that is severely limiting with this, and I should probably. I'm going to bring up Sportsman's Park to show you what I mean. So we're gonna switch back to our Ultimate ATAS, and you'll see what I mean. There's a few ballparks in here that you can't. I have to find. I'm gonna have to find other uh, images for. So let's go to Sportsman's Park, and I'll show you. Is it in here? Sportsman's even in here? But I gotta find it somewhere. Maybe it's not in here. Let me see. Are they using that for the Cardinals? Nah, they're not. Where is it? Because I tried to change Sportsman's Park, but I'm going to show you how to move things around. Okay, so let's say I don't like the third baseman all the way over there by the foul line. Okay, so I can either click on third base or I can select third base, but you don't have free range of motion. You can move it vertically or horizontally, and that's all. Look, that's it. I can't. There's nothing. I can't bring this third baseman. Again, I realize it's cosmetic, but and that's all. So this does not have the freedom that that you're going to find in Action PC Baseball. Digital Diamond Baseball, you can just click anywhere on the field, and that's where that position will go. So, I want to bring this left hand back. That's fine, but there's got to be some grid or something, and this is a little limiting. I would like to see this changed. I do like the fact, though, that you can, again, I'm not going to mess with this, but you can click on the chart and then choose the ballpark effect. So if I click on 26, I can make 26. This ballpark effect could be a base hit, a double, triple home run, what have you. But I'm just going to leave it blank. But you can see how deeply editable this thing is. Change its year. So we could have Busch Stadium too, but in 1886 park factors. So you can get very experimental with this, but this is one of the things in the game that really does need changing. So you can imagine, I am not going to save my changes. Okay. But let's pick another ballpark maybe that's not straight up and down. So the Yankee Stadium is going to be easy to do. I'm trying to see if there's one here. Okay, so we can't get the normalization for that. I don't really care. I'm trying to find a ballpark here that's sort of off kilter a little bit, and I'm not. But let's see how easy it is to change things here in this. Okay, so again, base row, third baseman. Now in this one, look at that. Now that's a little bit more realistic. So the workaround is just find another image, and you've got it. All right, now everybody's probably wondering, how does the game play? Well, let's see how it plays. Okay, let's get out of the Texas Rangers here, and let's play an exhibition game. And we'll just say Tigers and the Cardinals. Why not? 67. Okay. I'm not going to be doing any managing. I just want to show you the game. Oops, that was stupid. That was my fault. Not Richard's fault, my fault. Anyhow, Tigers and Cardinals and play. And then you can click position buttons to set lineups for for the Tigers, whatever. But I'm not going to do any of that madness. Okay, we're just going to play. Sorry about the national anthem. Let me turn it off for a second here. It's really awful. It's really awful. I think we'll just keep the sound turned down for this for a minute. It should be gone now. And I don't think I'm sharing desktop audio anyhow, so it shouldn't matter. Okay. So here we go. We're in Busch Stadium. We got our player cards. So I did say that there's a couple ways to play this game. So here's what it looks like as just a baseball sim. Save, boom. So the cards are gone. Now you're playing this as a baseball sim. You are seeing the lineups. You can have the lineups or not as you wish. So one click is essentially like the what is that? Is that it's called the Quick 1-1 or something in Dynamite? I haven't reinstalled Dynamite yet on this machine. I haven't installed it yet. But just one click and it's just going to play everything out. So that's one way to play it. But now we can do bunt, stolen base, whatever. Just have him swing away. It's okay line. Um, we can just go here and go. We can look at results. So if we look at results, we can see here it's going to start to track. And this is a really nice looking screen here. I like this. Baby kitten is trying to chase my cursor. Let's do this. Kitty, kitty, kitty. There we go. Hi, baby. Here, get you down here so you can get a little easier. And I'll stop it. You don't want to frustrate kitties and they can't get to it. All right. So welcome in, Todd B. Todd B, another huge fan of felines as I am. So it's going to start tracking a box score for you, which is pretty nice. And so you can have a score sheet and a box score. So pretty cool, I think. Pretty cool. And you can choose the output format, which I'm not really sure why that's there, but the fact that you can just switch between these two with just a button. I'm having fun with Todd's cat here. Todd's kitten. All right. So this is what it looks like as a baseball sim. And you can always look at the charts, always look at the probability, cards, and stats. So there we go. We're looking right now at Ray Boone's card. And if anybody, there you go. And you can export to Excel. So Paul Fay, if you catch this later, you can export these cards and stuff, separate tabs for each players and stuff like that. So I don't know since you do have integration of your Baseball HQ app with Digital Diamond Baseball, maybe you can do something similar with this one. I do not know. Okay. Quick play is just play some or all of the current game, but I want to show you. Okay, we've already looked at it with charts, and now we'll look at it. We'll bring up player cards, click save. Okay, and so now you notice that one click is gone. Okay, so we go to pitch and bat, and this one swung on, and this one is going to be base hit. So OK line is aboard. All right. Let's go ahead and set it back to the one with the charts. That's the one I think I play the most. Is team charts. Okay, there we go. And I do want, I've got to go back. When you set that, you do have to go back to single click mode. And then single click mode comes back. Here we go. Here's the pitch and base hit to center. And so sometimes players' names will get misspelled. Harvey Keene's name, as we can see, is misspelled. So got to kind of watch for that. All right. So 2-1 for the Tigers. Here comes Ty Cobb. With this game, you'll notice there's no Z-plane animation at all. So if you're playing it, you're going to, if you know this, you can look at this or just look at the play-by-play. And it will tell you what happened. So watch. I'm not going to even call this, and let's see if we can figure out what it is. Okay, Cobb swings. Okay. That was what a flyout looked like. So that was a little pop-out to Kenichi. So it's only XY animation on the ball, which is kind of curious because the original version of the game did also use the Z plane or a let's say a faux Z plane animation. So the only way to tell if something, in other words, a line drive, a fly out, and a base hit all look the same, and so does a pop out. So you really do have to watch this up here to see what happened. So, but this is the game, and it's pretty nice. Let me see. All right, so here's Harry Heilman now. Harry Hellman in the plate. Al Kaline at second. Harvey Keene, got to change that spelling, on at first. All right, De Leon Pearson has the sign from Cooper. Here is the pitch. And Hellman swings, and this one, fly ball out to Kurt Flood, taps the glove, makes the catch. And up here, too, is another, you'll see the play result. So it's red. Remember, we talked about red is bad if you're an offense, and we just see that this was a fly out. Okay. All right, brings up Hammer and Hank Greenberg. This needs to be larger. I would like to see the scoreboard a little bit larger. I think Action PC Baseball has a fantastic scoreboard. I love the updates that they've done to that this year. So I'd like to see this a little bit larger. Maybe instead of using numbers here for outs, use the dots like you're going to see, like make them lit up or something. But again, no big deal. No big deal. You have auto outs on dice rolls of 11, 12, 14, 15, and all that kind of, or on these different dice rolls. Okay, anyhow, here's the pitch to Hammer and Hank Greenberg, and Greenberg's going to draw the walk. So De Leon has loaded the bases, and here is Charlie Gehringer. Here's the pitch. Gehringer swings on this one, and this one is going to be hit into the gap, into the alley and left. And Gehringer has himself a 2 RBI double. So the Tigers jump out to a 2-0 lead here in the top of the first. Gehringer at second, Greenberg at third, and brings up Ray Boone now. So here's the pitch to Ray Boone, and this one is going to be a base hit into left field, and that's going to score 2 more. So the Tigers with 4 big runs here in the top of the first here against St. Louis and 2 down. So you can see here that this is showing that base advance, and you can just, it says see legend for results, and you could if you wanted to, but you don't really have to. Okay. Brings up Bill Freehan now. By the way, once more on memory eternal to Mickey Lolich, since we're playing a Tigers game. And base hit. Base hit for Bill Freehan. So 2 on. And Jose De Leon having trouble here. Trying to get that third out. And the Tigers just putting 4 runs up there on 5 hits. All right, here's Virgil Trucks now. And here is the pitch to Virgil Trucks. Let's see what the pitcher does. And he will swing and miss, and he is out of there. All right, this won't give you the kind of like an inning summary, so you might want to keep track of that. So it's not going to say like in Ala Park Baseball or Action PC, like 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. It's not going to say that. It's just going to say the score is whatever. It's not. There's no fancy play-by-play in this, but I don't think you really need. I don't think it's needed. I really don't. So we can also look here, which is a really, really neat thing too, right? So do you notice when I'm moving my mouse, we're looking at dice roll results for the pitcher, Virgil Trucks, okay? But then if we go down here and just give a little scroll of the middle mouse wheel, we can also see the park effects that are taking place here. So really, really nice touch. Todd says it's a shame this game is getting lost in the plethora of new games and ideas. It is, which is also why I hope. So Richard, if you're hearing me out there, I've bought your game twice now. Please let me help you, man. Just with some of the artsy stuff, even, and some of the audio stuff, I'd love to help. But yeah, you're right, because it's you guys have seen. I've done very little rabbiting here. It's been on an hour. I've hardly interacted with the chat. And I've been talking about this game for an hour and all the things that you can do with it. It's incredible. For $35, man, it's good. It's good. You can, and again, just you can make your own teams in this thing. It's pretty insane. All right, leading off here in the bottom of the first inning is the great Lou Barak. Here's the pitch from Virgil Trucks, and swung on fly ball to right field, and Al Kaline will catch it for out number 1. And there again, we can see our play result. You can also see that dice roll. So if I had some Sports Illustrated dice, or if I had Pocket Pennant Run dice, or Pocket Pennant Run fired up, and I can create these dice, and then you would be able to see that. I would actually do the manual input, but you guys are smart. You don't need that, right? Okay, here is the Raja. Now, what you're going to see here, which is, I think, really important too, and it would be a nice addition, but yeah. So usually, and this will be borrowing a page, and there is real estate here. You can see it. So what you're going to see here is what he's done in the current season. Of course, we're just getting started with this. We're playing an exhibition game, and then what he's done in a game. What I'd like to see is a top line or a third line, just with just with his slash line here, of what he actually did in whatever season that Hornsby was imported from. I should note that there is not a baseball history collection for this thing, and there is not an all-time great players like you have in a Diamond Mine baseball, nor, although I think it's not a very good product, the career historical disc and Strat. This doesn't have anything like that. So these players actually are imported by seasons, which is that's okay, which is fine because Out of the Park Baseball doesn't have a baseball history collection either. So if you were to make your own project, just do this if you wanted. All right, here is the pitch from Trucks to Hornsby, and Hornsby swings, and this one just popped to third, and Ray Boone will glove it for the pop out. So it's not, again, because it's not a fancy play by play. I could actually call this game and I could get in a good rhythm. I've just got to go in and fix Harvey Keene's name. That's driving me nuts. All right, so two down here in the bottom of the first, and here's Jesse Burkett, and we can see here, for Jesse Burkett, you can see he's red. Okay, so Burkett, by the way, grounded out Garinger to first. So you can see Jesse is red, Brock, right, red. So everybody's green is a righty, red's lefties, and if we had it's either yellow or blue on this screen, those are the switch hitters. I think it's yellow. All right, so 4-0 Tigers, top of the second. We're not going to do the whole 9-inning game, but I just wanted folks to see it. All right, and what do we got here? So we got the top of the order now. So Al Kaline, Harvey Keene, and Ty Cobb. Here's the pitch from De Leon, swung on by Kaline, and this one is going to be grounded. This could be grounded to Marty Marion, on to Ed Kenichi for out number one. All right, here's Harvey Keene. So all we know here is that right now he's 0 for 1. This is not going to tell you exactly what he did. It's not going to tell you up here what he did. Dan says it's kind of a train wreck. It has a lot of cool things. It seems like it'd be a really good game, but it needs some serious visual help. Yes, it does. It's actually there is a lot of cool things, and it is. It's great value for money. And I understand. Richard. This is his creation. He's a solo developer, and but that doesn't excuse the fact that I think you got to take some suggestions offered by the community, and there's a lot going on that I think it's hurting the game for a lot of people. That's why I changed the opening screen, Dan, my favorite Irishman, um, because the opening screen is really just not very nice, and I hope Richard will. As Samuel said, we're probably not going to get an in between. It would probably be either a rewrite of the game or we're just going to get the same thing. But it does so much. It's just that because there's so much of this that is kind of like sort of obtuse or hard to find information up here, right? Like there's all kinds of stuff going on here, and it would be just nice to have some font scaling for people. It would be nice to maybe have use this real estate a little bit better. So yeah, it's not a bad. It's actually a good game, hampered by, I think, a developer. Not hampered by. Let's. That's not right. Let me put it another way. This is an excellent game that I think the developer wanted is poured so much into it and made it such a sandbox that I think he ran into. It looks like sort of an issue here of, okay, there's tons of information. Where do you put it? And so, like, if I hadn't shown you guys this little thing with the right with the Jose De Leon, so Park Effect, right? There's nothing that tells you that. Now, you could go up here to the context sensitive help, um, and you're going to get a lot of just this basic stuff, but it's not really going to get into the kinds of things like, okay, move your mouse wheel, um, to get park effects, things like that. So, and the picture card. Not to rag on Richard, but he has disappeared from time to time with this game and its development. Why do not? So I actually heard from Richard. I actually heard from Richard Todd. He sent out to some players because Society for American Baseball Research is interested in digital players and cards and dice people. But doing they want replays. Sabres finally embracing baseball gaming, and I'm so glad that they are. So I did get an email from him from a couple weeks ago. Um, so he is around, and in fact, if you look in the Delphi forums, he does say, "Look, Sabre's interested in your replay projects." So he does disappear, but he's updated this game, I think, 3 times in 2025. He's just very low key, very low key. So, but Dan, I mean, I think you really hit it on the you hit the proverbial nail on the head. There's so much good going on for this game, but for many people, it's getting past the interface, and you shouldn't have to wrestle with an interface. And you can ask the guys at Out of the Park. I mean, their thing with their interface, as we've seen that sort of develop through the years. Again, another highly, in my estimation, the most complex digital baseball game is Out of the Park Baseball, and they've been wrestling with UI and UX for years, and it's getting to the point now where new players are feeling, okay, this isn't as scary. But I wouldn't, as much as I love this game, if somebody was new to baseball simming, this would not be the game I would say try this game out. This would not be one. This would not be the game. If they didn't want bells and whistles, I would say, all right, why don't you try Diamond Mine first? Because Diamond Mine is deep, but you can just load up a season and start playing, and you're okay. This one gives you so much, which I love, but with more moving parts. This is maybe a poor analogy, but it'd be kind of like, imagine you're sitting in the cockpit of of the space shuttle, right? And there's just everything there. Would you know what to do? So, yeah. Yeah, so it was just November. Yep. Wondering why they missed the boat as well as being gone so long. So, mm, I sense from Richard, he's a very, very serious baseball guy, and has done an excellent job. He is not very friendly to player suggestions. People, and in fact, if you go in the Delphi forums, people are complaining at the lack of presence there by Richard. And again, guys, this is just, and it's good, and I'm hoping that somehow somebody will link to say, Richard, you got to listen to this, because these guys are saying, look, this game has a lot of promise, but you got to fix some things. And because I think this is such a good product. Yep, Action PC, really easy first recommend. Now with the drive for the pennant mode in Out of the Park Baseball, I would even introduce a new player for drive, and say, look, start with drive for the pennant, because it really restricts what you can do in Out of the Park Baseball. But of all of that, I would say Action PC and Diamond Mine probably the easiest to introduce. Baseball for Windows, as much as I love it, is not a game that, if you've never played a text-based baseball sim before, that's not one you want to mess with right away. But this one, I would have to say, if you've played SI baseball before, then okay, you're going to be fine. I never had, but if you played a lot of baseball sims, then you can get around this thing. So again, it's the UI that's really, really, really difficult. The ballpark picks are nice, but they are an action PC as well. Limitations of this game: fielder positioning on fields and just setting up baseball fields is severely limited. I want to be able to, you know, again, I keep talking about font scaling, font scaling, font scaling. Got to be able to do that. Um, the context sensitive help is nice, but there's a lot of information that it's leaving out that I think there needs to be. I think also, and maybe it's in the maybe somewhere in the directory, and I haven't seen it, but I think that it would be a great idea for Richard to have a primer on how to play Sports Illustrated baseball. I think that would be super helpful for people. Include it in the game. Click here for the manual. What does this mean? So, I mean, I'm looking here. What is that X rule? What does that mean? I don't know. I'm not sure. Or if I'm looking at park effects, okay, so what is a two in parentheses? What does that mean? Now I can play the game, and if I see that result come up and I see what's going on in the field, maybe I can extrapolate that. But I don't think it would be very difficult to be able to just go ahead and say, all right, let's put in this is how you play. You don't have to call it Sports Illustrated Baseball. This is what the charts mean. I shouldn't have to go to a Facebook group to do it. So Todd B says all these games seem as if we're reaching a saturation point. No, I think you're right. So the trick is what can you bring to this crowded, very niche table, and this does. So for an adaptation of a cards and dice game where you can not only edit players, but you can edit the cards, and you can have year effects and park effects affect what's going on. I think that's incredible. The fact that this does a baseball reference import and will do it by defensive position as well as all the other stuff that it does. Its integration right with RetroSheet is super, super cool. The customizability of this game is amazing. As Dan said, there's lots of cool things. But that being said, it's also held back, I think, by your. This game came out, what? I think SI Baseball, Derek Bain, maybe if he was in here, would be able to correct me. But I think it was around 70 or 71, 72, something like that. My recollection reading about the history of Sports Illustrated Baseball. So this was a game that was not continued. Avalon Hill dropped it after a spell. And so it hasn't been around like App. It hasn't been around like Strat. So for a lot of people, this is sort of uncharted territory. Like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When I bought the thing, I had no idea. I was just like, hey, I just want to check out this baseball sim, and I liked it, and I do like the game. Um, and let's have a look here. Now things are starting to fill in here. Um, Again, it's kind of an interesting sort of uh, score card here, but it's readable, tracking what's going on, and then we can go to the box score and see what's going on here. I mean, but this is nothing special, right? Every digital baseball game does this, but it is bringing new things to the table. So Aaron says he's not much of a fan of it. Well, Aaron, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work with your software. So for your needs, this is going to be a difficult game, I think. I do. Yeah, we might be in the golden age of games, but the saturation point seems apparent. Needs to work on scorecard, definitely. Definitely needs to work on the scorecard. Yeah, because I mean, if we look at that, let's look at that. This scorecard, like, because I'm paying attention to the game. All right, so I know what all this means. But if somebody handed me this, and a good scorecard, right? And you can take any scorecard and you can reconstruct the game, easy enough. But I'm looking at this, and if somebody said, "Okay, Beatles, um, go ahead and tell me what happened in this game," um, okay, I I would be. Okay, what does this mean? I don't know. So does this mean? Well, I mean I know because I've been watching this. So it was a double that scored 2 runs. Ray Boone had a single. Okay, which but this one plus, what did Bill Freehand do here? Okay, we know Virgil Trucks. Okay, so you're using some non-standard notation here that I've never seen on a scorecard. So yeah, definitely work on that. Box scores are easy. You can't screw those up. That's like screwing up a cup of coffee. Um, this is it's always difficult because I would suggest this, guys, because there is a free version of this game that's pretty damn near 100% functional. Sometime you're sitting around, you're like, you know what? Let's have a look at it. And, there's a free version of the game you can just play forever. And it gives you enough taste of what you can do. I don't know. I think there's a limitation to the number of seasons you can have active at once or something like that. It may limit you on like import and stuff like that, but you can pretty much play the full game. And then if you decide to you decide you like it, buy it. So you wouldn't be out of anything except a little bit of hard drive space. This is not going to become a huge, let's say, like, those of us who have Action PC baseball, we should compare the sizes of our DK Sports data directories. I think this game is a good game, though. With all that being said, a good game that is kind of a train wreck. Yeah, it is. It's kind of a train wreck, but it's not like this crappy baseball sim. It actually plays a good game of baseball. It really, really does. So Green Fox has the same issue. Yeah, right. So okay, so you're talking about Jesse Burkett. Let's go back and look at the results again, and let's look at Jesse. Yeah. So the best score sheet. I'll tell you. Well, not the best score sheet. Is Pocket Pennant Run. Pocket Pennant Run baseball score sheet is amazing. But that being said, I would say for the more established games, Action PC Baseball, its score sheet is excellent, very readable. You can translate it. You could give me an image of an Action PC baseball score sheet, and I would be able to interpret everything that happened in the game. In fact, even call the game. You could like call the game from the score sheet from that. It's so good. This Yeah, and you want to know where people are flying out to. Where are they grounding out to? Because you're going to see a baseball game, right? However I mean, and everybody has his or her own ways of scoring baseball. I understand that. So for me, it might be GB 6-3, or I might just write 6-3. Some people just do that 6-3. Well, 6-3 tells me that Jesse Burkett grounded to short, on to first, boom. But it's only because I'm following the game that I kind of know what's going on, right? Single, single, fly out, walk, double that scored 2 runs, base hit that scored a run, and somehow Bill Freehand must have knocked somebody else in too because Tigers leading 4-0. Okay. All right, here's Harvey Keene. Harvey Keene, nothing for in the game. De Leon deals, and Harvey Keene will trot down to first, and he will draw the walk. All right, here's Ty Cobb. Georgia Peach, nothing for one. And Cobb, this one swung on, and this one going deep. Open the window, Aunt Minnie, and this one is gone. Cobb with a 2-run shot, and it's also what we're not going to do. The Tigers are absolutely just exploding here. But anyhow, it gives you an idea of Dombrov baseball. And I do suggest, if you're at all curious, just try here. So here's the free game, which I guess apparently right now you have to, however you find it, you can try this thing for free. So if you go to the purchase game, free version, there we go. So the free edition comes with nearly all the features of the purchase game, but some of the key features will have limited use. You can check out the free program for as long as you like, but we hope it compels you to make a purchase. It runs on Windows and Mac, which I think is really, really good thing. So there's the free edition right there that you can download. It's only 193 megabytes, and you don't really have anything to lose. Try it and see. I do like that. Again, just the things it has, and again, tons and tons and tons of seasons, and the fact that you can make your own. I mean, so I'm scrolling really quickly, and you can see here there's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots great thick stacks and gobs of baseball to play. The sharp-eyed among you, who are in the 19th century baseball, so Clinton and Ken, you will notice that there is no 19th century baseball. So I thought sometime it'd be really fun to go ahead and try to import like 1895 just to see what it does, or 1884, because it will go all the way back to the National Association to see how this game does with 19th century baseball. So there we go. Anyhow, so well for ball school, I'm talking about in game, though, Clinton. And I'm sorry, but Pocket Pennant Run just looks incredible. And I give Action PC a good close second, my opinion. But again, because ball score is not contained within a baseball game. So, but they look great. They do. They look like a newspaper box score. I agree with that. And there's Philip. How you doing, Philip? So, I guess the question really, really becomes, and let's go ahead and just quick play this game out. And you can play this in spectator mode, but there we go. So, wow. Holy shit. So I talked about the mercy rule. Well, forget it. Whatever the Tigers did, or the Cardinals, this was a 15-11 barn burning, crazy ass whatever. And you can export and everything. Wow. Holy frijoles, baby. And the Cardinals had no home runs. So, wow. Wow, man. So the other thing this game needs is a nice recap. But anyhow, it's Dombrov Baseball Sim. Gives you a lot to do. But yeah, it's a little bit of a train wreck right now. But I think this thing has a lot of potential. I do play it. I do like it. Do I think it could ever be an S tier game? So to me, there are a few S tier games. Do I think it's going to be Action PC or Out of the Park? Baseball for Windows or Diamond Mine? No. But this is by a solo developer too. So I do try to cut some slack on that. If I had something going here, I should say that too. There's more depth. So let me show you a little bit more before we close out. All right. So pretty deep. All right. So we're not going to have any standings here yet, but you got team versus team. This is going to have team stats, and this down here you're just selecting your stats or selecting the team that you want to look at. So we're looking at Negro League Stars 2. It'd be fun to play an exhibition with these guys. As you can see here, lots of work put into this. Looking at league stats, we can see who would be leaders in hits, doubles, triples, homers, batting average, yada yada yada, all that stuff. Pitching leaders, game results. You can build a website from what's on here, which is really nice. Is clicky. It'll do notable game logs, and you can actually select that player and look at his game log. It doesn't work with exhibition games, only with season games, and an injury tracker. And then there's a game results team filter just for whatever team that you want to. So again, there's so very much in this game. And I beg you and I plead you, Richard, I am not knocking your game. Rather, I think you have something that is very, very special here that is hampered by the design. And the design is going to make or break a game. A design makes or breaks. So statistically, you look up something on Google. If people don't find, so that's why search, and this ties back in, guys. Search engine optimization, or SEO, is so important. Let's say if you're doing e-commerce. So if people don't find first what they want on that first page of Google results, you're forget it. If you're in the second page of Google, you have to work on your search engine optimization. With that said, when you go onto a website, and if people can't figure out, if they can't get their, let's just bring up a website as a matter of fact, um, just to show you what I mean, because I like to put my academics to work here. Let me bring up. Let's close this, and let's bring something up here. So I'm going to show you a website that's, and I subscribe to this too, by the way, because this has everything you could ever possibly want for app of baseball for Windows. And this is the Digital Skybox. This is and Stephen Galbraith, love what you've done here. He's the creator of this, but this is really, really bad. This is very, very bad. So you don't have images, okay, without being them clickable. So this is bad website design. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Digital Skybox has tons of great, wonderful things that you can check out. Okay, but you have to sort of figure out what's going on here. Okay, how do I get in? Okay, I don't remember my password, so I have to. But look what I'm doing here. So for lifetime, $30. There's so much here. I'd have to go look at my um, how But the thing is if somebody was looking for something here, they're probably, if it takes longer than 15 seconds to find what you want, you're not going to stay on the website. Well, that's the same with any sort of user interface. So the idea with instructional design and sound UX and UI, not only theory but practice, is that a user should be able to sit down and look at your website, look at your app, never having seen it before, and be able to navigate it with no guidance. And if you can accomplish that, or very little guidance, if you can accomplish that, you've got a great product. If you can't, you're killing your product no matter how much it offers. Now, again, Stephen, doing this great thing with Digital Skybox. For those of us who play baseball for Windows, this is an incredible, incredible resource. It really is. There are literally thousands of micromanagers on this site that you can buy, that you can get. All kinds of ballparks, all kinds of seasons. Just all, it's crazy. But that's why I've been touting Baseball Max from Strat. Their website does it right. They do it right. So not fair to compare one guy's passion project, but when I go to this website, and of course I have to get started for free, um, right? I know what I want to do. If I go here to Baseball Max, oh, look at this. And then from here, you dig deeper and dig deeper. This is an example of excellent use of CSS website. So, what does this have to do with this game? Everything. Because you have all of this real estate and you scale these fonts, right? And right, this people don't want to do. Look at this, right? So you don't want to go up here. Look, this is hidden. It's hidden, right? You're like, where's the help screen? Is it up here? Oh, what if I accidentally hit that? I know I'm being terribly picky, but this is not what you want to do. Have the word, put help, make it work it into a graphic. Have a really cool looking mascot guy. Need help? Click me. Whatever. You could do mouse overs on stuff like this and have a pop out down here. League season tools are used to blah blah blah. So don't waste real estate. Don't waste real estate. Um, have people be able to scale up fonts. I know I'm talking about that so very very much, but you really have to. There's no way to scale that up on this opening screen. This is for in game, but you're going to be using sort of all this stuff here. So you've got to make this stuff. Why again? All this wasted real estate, and I click. Why? Okay. So even if I have a window that goes up, anything that you have written here, okay, that's fine. It doesn't look clean. It looks jumbled, right? It's because this is all jumbly. Line the stuff up. It sounds like I'm nitpicking, but I'm not. People look for, all right, so English speakers, whether you speak English, you speak, or you speak the Romance languages, Germanic language, most languages are read left to right, right? We know that. So you want to have your information, the salient information kind of works like this. The most important information should be in the upper left part of your app or on your website, and then in decreasing importance as you moved down on this trajectory. Okay. So, in that respect, okay, but look at this. Park settings is way over here. That's pretty important. So, don't put that way over there. That's a bad design decision. What you're using all of this down here, right? Put park settings here. Just things like that. Make this visually more pleasing. Make it look like baseball, right? Yeah, Strat Max is a great entry level game. I agree with you. So again, anybody watching this is a member of the Dombrov baseball community. I bought the game twice. I believe in it. I think it's a very very good baseball game, but it's really let down by its interface, and I think it's turned. In fact, we did an experiment, guys. Do you remember last year or 2 years ago? I showed you guys the older version of that, and overwhelmingly, everybody in the chat said they loved the way the game looked. I mentioned that to Richard in an email, and he said, "Well, some people are just, they're just not very good with change." And it's like, no, I wish I had the other computer up right now. I don't, so you guys can see. I could juxtapose this with the original. The original was the only problem it had was blue writing on a grass, almost a Kelly green background, and it should have just been like yellow, right? Green and yellow, like the yellow foul poles. But everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's much better. That's much better. That's much better." Um, and it really, really was. But what are you going to do? I'm still playing the game, and if I was, I bought it twice, and I would buy it again. But I really hope that I just really hope that there can be some things changing because it is going to get overshadowed, and you know, in comparisons, and I know some people are going to say in the comments, well, Mark Cohen is a solo developer. Yeah, he is, and you look at Digital Diamond Baseball, and it's got interface issues. It's got interface issues too, but not. In fact, Dwayne Martz had to find a serious workaround for the fonts in that game. But you know, I will at least say that Mark has been listening to player feedback, and I hope. And this is no character assassination on Richard. He made an excellent game. Richard, just please, there are people in this chat that have been, or they're saying not just me, but read the chat notes as you go through it. People are saying, yeah. So we had one user here, Dan, saying, it's got a lot of cool ideas, but it's being let down by its design, its visual. because it's got to look nice and it's got to be functional. And I'm afraid that it's neither. So right now, if I were to give this game a letter grade as a game on its own, I would give this an A. Now, when you factor in, though, the user interface and everything, which is a D, yeah, maybe a C minus, whatever. Right now, overall, as a software package, I would give this a B minus to a B. But it could be an A product, and without having to hire any crazy artists. My God, you could use AI and whip up something pretty cool looking just for the background, even, and that would be a great start. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you this game as part of the collection that I have, and I mean, probably will be doing something with it this coming Sunday, and we're just going to leave this up. Aaron said, or Crusader says, a question going back to him. Welcome in, my friend. Back to Pocket Pennant Run. Does it have occasional rare plays? Yes. Are they more extensive than Stratomatic? I haven't played enough of either Crusader to be able to really comment on frequency. But yes, it does. If you roll triples on the dice in Pocket Pennant Run Baseball, it has rare plays. That's how they happen. So, but I can't really speak to frequency. But yep, definitely does have it. And really, for all intents and purposes, although Paul Fay now has, even though he's listed as a play tester, but he's very much to, kind of in a kind of developer sort of role, adding Baseball HQ. But really, I mean, if we juxtapose these two games, um, and again, can you do as much in this game as you can in Dombrov Baseball? Yes and no, you know. But this is cleaner. So I can see right here everything I need to know. So Craig Harris really understands, okay, about doing apps. So when you fire up a baseball game, what is it you want to do? A lot of people in the past were, um, freaked out about out of the park baseball before the new one, right? And how crazy you have these little icons and the menus and da 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 da, and that allowed games like Pure Sim Baseball, Baseball Mobile to come along and say, we're going to challenge this and we're going to give you an easier to use interface, which they did. And it's clear that Marcus and company listened to community and saying, we don't even know how the hell to do anything in this game. So, if I want to do a season replay, well, I know I can just do this. Boom, play game from history, and I can select the season. And right now it's just 1955. Load the save season, and I'm ready to go. I already played Cubs Reds game, and the other thing this thing does is pretty accurate too. Cubs won that actual game in 1955, 7-5, and in my replay they won it 5-4. But it's easy to get around. It's so easy to get around. So if I do this and look there, I can just show box score. Pretty nice. And this is from a solo developer, and I think it's clean. It's so very clean. I want to play a game at random in baseball history. Pretty cool. There we go. Hey, 1926. There we go. Giants and Pirates could be a fun one, right? So we can play game and play game day, and there we go. There's no guesswork involved here at all. In fact, I would say that this would be a good entry level game too. And the price is right for this one. Um, Again, is it a better game than Dombrov? No, I'm not saying that. But in terms of, you could sit down with this game, and I bet you could figure this game out a lot faster than this one. And that's the thing. I think if you really want to sell your game, and I would hope he does, right? So there we go. Look, all the options say, oh, look, this all makes sense. And I mean, there's a lot of information going on here. And options, red die, weight numbers. I'm ready to go. But yeah, Strat Max is I'm having fun, John. I'm loving it, man. I love Strat Max baseball. I really do. I did one a game last night. There's only like 4 people here, but did a game last night, man, and it was so super cool. I love it. I find myself playing Strat Max a lot, actually. Um, I'm hoping Apago will get better because I would like to start subscribing to that again. But to me, baseball for Windows is better. It is better than Apago right now. I know John Hurston probably wouldn't want to hear that, but not that he really cares what I have to say anyhow. Um, but yeah, so there we go. I'll bop around here for a minute here. All right, so look at this. We got a left rights. This is really just a batter situation, and this is going to be a grounder to Doc Farrell for out number one. Hopefully, yeah. There we go. One away. Here is Paul Wainer. Paul Wainer, great right fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Batter 12. This is a park check. It's a hitter 3 and base hit for Paul Wainer. I also like the just being involved type thing, which is really, really cool. But doesn't Baseball for Windows use older APA rules? It uses the APA Master game, and version 6.1 adds in the Otani rule. It adds in the batter's minimum faced rule, Ghost Runner. So, but as far as older APA rules, I'm not sure. But the thing is, Crusader, the difference between Strat PC and APA PC is APA PC, you can't roll your own dice, but it's superior to Strat PC. I'm not talking about Strat Max, but Strat PC. APA PC is superior to that in every other way. Play-by-play, stat tracking, team creation. It blows Strat PC out of the water, interface-wise even, it does. We got a sightless person in here, Aaron Reed, that can navigate APA Baseball for Windows like a champ. APA needs new and younger leadership. Yeah, which is exactly what Strat has. I mean, Hal Richmond still runs the company, but I've seen some of the pictures and interviews with some of the people at Strat that have done that really smart looking website. Their website looks great. Strat Max looks great. Those youngins got to tell Hal that the PC game either needs a facelift or just make it just go away. Yep, I agree with you, John, 100%. So Crusader says he does like the Strat PC game, but I wish they would update the engine. And that has held me back from purchasing newer versions. Yep, it's a really tough interface to, in my mind, to negotiate. I'm going to go ahead and close out of Dombrov, by the way. So just for shits and giggles here, right? So one of the things about Baseball for Windows that people don't like is the fact that it's modular. Right. In fact, I gotta put my shortcut to League Manager here. So let me do that. So the Strat PC game, right? It does. It has everything in like this huge, huge interface. Okay. Um, which can be really off-putting, I think. And watch ID Jester's rant on it, and you will find it. So let me just put this here. Move that to the desktop. And yeah, we'll just continue. There we go. Boom. I probably should have just smacked it somewhere, but that's okay. All right. So there we go. So in this module, this is where you play the game from. So if I did select play manual game or however I wanted to do this, I could go ahead and just start a game. If I wanted to create a league, I go in, it's a different module, right? So again, there's some menu options that you got to go through. Never use the Pankin optimizer, by the way, it's bullshit. But load a data disk, go for it. You're ready to play. I think it's superior. It's also got the Ernie Harwell broadcaster. It plays a damn fine game of baseball, as does Strat PC. Strat PC plays a great game of baseball. But the problem with Strat PC is the fact that if you want to play the newest season, you got to buy the game every year. So with Action PC, if you own Action PC Baseball, If you have Action PC Baseball 2021, you can buy the 2025 season and play it. Dave doesn't force you into upgrading, right? And he has so many damn sales you want to. Out of the Park Baseball, a lot of people balk at the price, but at $50, that game is a steal. But I've seen it go as low as $10. So you spend $10 and you still have every season in baseball. Now, Strat Max is awesome. You subscribe to it, and you get everything from 1871 onward. And I think, my own opinion here, but I think and a number of Strat players have said this. They feel that the Strat. I don't know why I have to keep doing that. Anyhow, these cards in this game just look better um, than the PC game. And I had the PC game. I spent like $400 on a damn thing. I'm not going to go over why I don't play it anymore. Let's take my 2015. Pick 2015 Pittsburgh Pirates, Garrett Cole, and 19 somebody or other. 1980 Phillies. How about that? 1980 Phillies, Phil Negro. It's it doesn't have the old timey look that Apago does, but look, like right there, this is great design. There's that little subtle flash. This is telling me, oh, right, my eyes drawn to that. Oh, you mean I can mess with my lineup here. I can change it up. Nice touch, right? So can't do it here. This is a computer. Well, I guess I could. Yeah, I can. I can even mess with this lineup if I want. Okay, go to next. Look at my head-to-head lineups here and play. And the ballpark, I think, is superfluous, so I don't use it. So I turn that off, turn this on, and those are nice looking cards. And I have my screen resolution set higher. So here, look at that. Nice and clear. Nice and clear. And I remember looking at the when I had Strat PC, I'm like, I wish these cards looked a little sharper. I think these are clean. So John is the leadership. No one else really, except for outside vendors. Yeah. So John, right? John Harrison. Be nice though if John could get some programmers in there, because I think Apago is really good. And Ken, I had fun playing some head to head with you. And when you're ready to go back to do that, I'll resubscribe so we can play some more. But what I found, Ken, is that just playing solo, I would think, do I want to play Apago or do I want to play Strat Max? I mean, I think of Apago and it's like I have Baseball for Windows. So Baseball for Windows still does way more than Apago. And Strat Max allows me to play Stratomatic Baseball, which is really cool. I like that. So there we go. That's a good one. But yeah, so Crusader, I think the Strat PC, I think Strat is a good game. Stratomatic Baseball is a good game. I don't have a horse in the Strat Appa game at all. I think they're both excellent baseball games, and I've played them both. My favorite cards and dice game, though, is Status Pro Baseball. But this is a lot of fun. I mean, John talks about, entry for a new player, cards and dice. There we go. So, right, it's going to roll the dice, and you're going to look, and there you go, man. This is just a liner to second. It tells you you just got it. There's no guesswork. And we can just let this play while we're talking. Fly ball to left fielder tells you who it is. Jeff Burrows, right? We can go to our box score right here. We got a box score. It doesn't give you a score sheet, but box score's okay. Plays. So any scoring play. So you do kind of get a verbal sort of score sheet, if you will. So, but I haven't played Strat since college, and it's like I'm playing this, but yet Dwayne and Ken had to remind me about some Apple rules that I didn't know. But this, it's like, okay, when something comes up and that die, that 20-sided D20 comes up, it's telling me what's going on. And the more I'm playing this, it's like this is coming back to me now, what all this means on a strat card. And I like it. So yeah, so Ken says no explanation needed. And he's right. You're in fact, Ken, who is a longtime Apple player, is doing a project right now, and he's actually using Strat as one of the components of the product. And I like the fact that Ken is like, okay. I mean, his favorite game is, he's Appa, long time Appa player, to be able to say, hey, but you know what? Let's try this game out. Let's try that, because Ken's talked to me about Fall Classic baseball. Clinton has talked to me about National Pastime 3, and a lot. So many of you have given me some great suggestions on, hey, try this game, try that game. Season Ticket Baseball is a game I do want to try at some point. I got too many damn baseball games running right now, so like, not that there's a such thing, but there we go. Let's get back to this. Again, thank you for hanging out with me for a while. And so Ken says you've never heard me saying anything bad or pushing. No, I've never seen you ever. And I'm speaking. You're here. I don't know if Clinton is still with us. He might have knocked off a little while ago. I'm not sure. I know he said he was back. Did he miss anything? Have a Jerry Lee Lewis song. That's the last thing I saw with him. No, I've never heard you say Strat sucks. And in fact, I've never really seen anybody, like kind of trashing games. And you play what you love. I guess I have a love for underdogs, and for me, Dombrov baseball is a bit of an underdog, which could be fixed. This one's not an underdog. This one's just new and still being worked on. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but Paul Fay sent me a list of what's going to be coming up for 2026 in Pocket Pennant Run baseball, and it's jaw dropping. Jaw dropping, amazing things are coming to this game. I have to tell Paul that they have to make meeples for the Pirates, by the way. I noticed that the other day. They don't have proper meeples. Here's Kyler, and Kyler's going to strike out. That was hard to do. Kyler was not a guy that struck out a lot. All right, so 2 down. See how I do this? I have like no. What did Paul call me? Butterfly brain. Here's anyhow. Here's Glenn Wright. Here's Glenn Wright, and here's the pitch to right. And this one hit out to center field. And oops, I missed. You got to hit that sweet spot, baby. Here's a hit out to center field. And I don't have a picture of Ty Tyson. But Tyson, this is just going to be a fly ball to center. And that will end the inning. All right. So there we go. We go to the bottom of the first. Pirates nothing. Giants coming to bat in this game from June 9th. Is it June 19th? Yep, June 19th, 1926. Life's too short for that shit. Yup. As Ken says, his lifelong love for Appa is well known. But if I have desire to roll something new, why not? Shit, yeah, definitely. And I'm much the same way with digital baseball games, and that's why, I could have said, you know what, yeah, I'm going to save $35, or I'll send Richard an email. Hey, I'm sorry, I lost my original set of file. He knows who I am. And he would have eventually sent me one. But I'm like, you know what? I like the game. Here, there. Now I've spent $70 in your game, dude, and I'm happy I did. I really am. You even like when you spend your money. Well, yeah. So what was it? It was either 1911 or the bat set. I said, dude, get the bat set. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like. I love that bat set. I want to put it in baseball for Windows. I think it's only appropriate since it's an Apple product. That's where it should go. But I know that, and in fact, Dwayne is doing the same thing. He's just using Digital Diamond as a board game companion. But watching Dwayne play both the pre and post 1960 sets, I love that set. It's just got to take the time to put it into baseball for Windows. Bats is the best set you ever bought. That's big. That's huge praise. And I don't want to come across like a John Herson basher. I'm not. Appa is a great damn baseball game. But right now, Strat Max is, I think, the better product. And if I'm going to spend a combined 40 some dollars on 2 baseball subscription services, I really want AppleGo's got to do more than Baseball for Windows, or at least as much as Baseball for Windows does. And then I'll subscribe to it again. No hesitation at all. Because AppleGo does a lot of things right, but it has a lot of work to do yet. And John said in a number of interviews that he wants that to be the epicenter of Appa. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. I think Strat's going that way too. They have a great product, and I long live Strat Max and long live AppleGo. As the Ford and Flash is at the plate now, and this is going to be trouble as Ray Kramer delivers. And for Frankie Frisch, this is going to be a batter 11, power check 11, and oh my goodness gracious! So Frankie Frisch, not wasting any time. This one high, this one deep, and Aunt Minnie running feverishly to the window because she's got a peach cobbler in there, and open the window, Aunt Minnie. Home run for Frankie Frisch. There we go. All right, one away. Thank you, Rosie Rosewell, for that. All right, so 1-0 New York Giants. And here's Ross Young's Hall of Famer. It doesn't get talked about very much. And Ross Young's is going to strike out. So we'll just talk about Ross Young striking out. Boop, there we go. This game's so easy to play. So Ken says for tomorrow, he has History Maker Baseball and Replay on the table. It's good to have choices, isn't it? Is this game free? It is not. But it's super cheap, dude. M. Holland, welcome in. So this game is actually this is not Dombrov baseball now. Now we're in pocket pennant run baseball just because I wanted to see if we could get up a rare play here. This is pocket pennant run baseball. This is actually the PPR manager, which acts as a board game companion. It's also a game in itself, which is an adaptation of the pocket pennant run cards and dice game. It's got 8 different databases, and it's the largest baseball database of any digital product out there, even dwarfs Out of the Park Baseball. And it tracks stats. It does all kinds of amazing things. If you buy the print and play version of Pocket Pennant Run Baseball for $15, you get access to this amazing piece of software, free lifetime upgrades forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. If you buy the physical board game, which literally fits in the palm of your hand, it's $24.99. Yep. So it's not free, but it's worth it. PocketPennantRun.com is where you can get this. And it's great. It's really, this is going to be an S tier baseball game. Right now, I would say it's A tier. But you know those tier thingies that people do. Yep, great baseball game, super easy to play. Here's another Hall of Famer. Here's Freddie Lindstrom. Here's the wind and the pitch to Lindstrom. And this is a batter 2, grounder to short. How run up to it onto George Grantham for the 4-3 putout. And boop, there we go. All right, 2 down for the New York Giants. 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Brings up Irish Musial, who nobody ever talks about. Irish Musial. Good season he had in 1926. 292 average, 6 home runs. Was he the brother of Bob Musial? I think he was. And Ray Kramer brings a little bit of old-fashioned country heat, and Irish Musial will strike out, and that retires the side. We go to the top of the second inning. The Giants lead the Pirates 1-0. And it will be George Grantham, Hal Ryan, and Johnny Gooch show up for the 26 Buccos, 25 Pirates, of course, World Series winners. And this one is going to be hit out to right field. Range play on Ross Young's, and Ross Young's, they're going to rule this a base hit. So played it on the short hop and able to stay with the ball. So boom, there we go. So runner on first. I like the visual of this game as well. So another thing we were back talking about Dombrov baseball is how do you organize information? Well, once you know in this game that green is fast or green is excellent, blue is very good or somewhat fast, yellow is average, and red is slow or not good, you can kind of make decisions. So right here, I'm not going to run. I wouldn't if I was, managing the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm not going to run anymore. But if I'm playing in a board game assistant, M. Holland, And if I roll the dice and they say it's a successful steal, I just click steal and he'll steal. So you can see it has everything in here that you need and much, much, much more. So yeah, it really does everything. So let me show you here for a second. So if you wanted to, let's say, you can boost and slump batters in this game, which I think is super, super cool. If we go to change dice, so it already has dice for 8 games, but you can create your own custom dice. But let's say that I was rolling a game of Strat. I just click OK, and now I got the Strat dice there. I would roll those dice, or you can just roll your own dice, by the way, if you want. So there's the D20, and there's the 2 reds and the white that go with Strat. If I want to change the dice again, and Ken mentioned History Maker Baseball, so let's do History Maker Baseball. Boom, there it is, decide or die, and all that kind of crazy stuff. It's all there. If you're playing a game that you're not seeing on here as well, then you can just do change dice and just do board game assistant. Now there's no dice. This will work with any baseball game you have. So I just happen to be playing Pocket Pennant Run for $14.99. You really cannot beat this. There's no syntax that you have to worry about. This game has got a beautiful score sheet, like I've talked about. Let's change the dice. Let's just go back to Pocket Pennant Run Baseball. You can reposition fielders in this thing, but there's a lot that Dombrov Baseball does. I just wish Richard would really just listen to some player feedback. I really, really do, because he's got something really good there. Okay, settings are saved. Thank you very much. Talked about that score sheet. I mean, come on, that's a pretty handsome score sheet. If I, well, I don't have to say so myself. It just is. Look how nice that looks. Pre-filled with everything, and it uses, and the at-bat way of doing it, and really nice. What's Jimmy Ring doing down here? I didn't know. Jimmy Ring is now with Jimmy Ring with the Giants. Didn't know that. Okay, cool. Would I like to pin YouTube to my taskbar? No, I didn't even realize that I was going to do that. Here's the pitch to Eddie Moore. Oh, current batter's the same as the last batter. Sorry about that. Here's George Grantham. Here's the pitch to Grantham. And this is going to be a little lefty-righty action, but actually, since they're opposite-handedness, this is going to be a batter 7 and base hit. You can play a game. I've done this without broadcasting. You can do a game in 15 minutes in this thing. Pretty cool. All right, here's Hal Ryan. Don't know much about Hal Ryan, except that this one could be, not so much trouble here. This could be a fly ball tag to center. So let's do F8 and fly 8 tag. Boom, and there we go. Runner moves to third. Boom. Yeah, that's like a real score sheet, right? Yeah, it's great. It's great. Fills in everything for you. So the nice thing too about this, man, let me show you a couple things since you seem to be interested in this game. Let's back out of this. Let's go ahead and close this. All right, and close this. I had this just randomly pick a date. You can put a date in baseball history. So another nice thing about this one is that you don't have to install seasons. They come with everything. So you give me a date. Let's say, September or July. I always hate messing with July because you never know. July 24th, 1963, let's say, show available games on that day. So it gives you the historical scores and everything, and you can replay any of those games. So you don't even have to have seasons installed. So if we wanted to do Cubs Reds that day, click it, play game. You can change fatigue for pitchers, whatever. This uses actual as played lineups, actual as played schedules, play game day, and we are now in here in the date that we picked. 24 July 1963. We look here at fielders. We can see, who might have been in the game, who was used in this game, and good stuff. Really good stuff. So the bench didn't look like it got hit in this game at all. So pretty nice, pretty nice. Yeah, there weren't even any relief pitchers in this game. So you can do it for that. But let's jump out because we're still talking about game stuff here. The other thing that you can also do with this game is you can print season, team, or player cards. So if we go here and let's go to just modern major leagues and let's pick 1980, and I can print season player cards. So I'll do that right now. So it's actually making all those cards. And do I want to include batting cards for pitchers? Sure, why the hell not? So if you play the cards and dice version of this game, um, it's right now it's making the cards. Do the pictures come pre-installed? All you have to do is dump them in a directory. So I'll show you that directory. And what's really cool about it, um, that I like, is how it splits everything up. So let me go to my PPR directory, pennant run, and right there. So whatever. What was that? What was 1963? So like double click 1963. There they are. And all you have to do is just download these. The program will create the directory structure and put these players where they should be. So, in a sense, as long as you just download it and let the thing do what it does, it will install. Same thing with the logos. There's a few downloads you have to make, but let me see. Let's go to internal game sheets, not game sheets. Internal. Where's the artwork? Where's artwork? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? There we go. Artwork. Okay, so again, there's the seasons again. Whatever. You don't need them there twice. There's your little meeples, right? Um, but here's logos, tons of logos. So if you have Action PC Baseball, M Holland, you can use those logos right in this game, and you can see, and you can get these logos. So I have 1,151 logos. So pretty much ready to rock and roll here. Thanks to Paul, there's some extra ones here now too, some Japanese baseball, things like that. So yep, okay. Player cards. All right, so the PDF is in the game sheets folder. So let me show you that. I probably should have left that open. So let's go back to C, and let's go back to PPR, and we're going to find our game sheets folder. All right. And there we go, 1980 player cards on PDF. Look at that. These aren't bad looking cards either, man. Not bad looking cards at all. There you go. So you could print these, cut them out. And I just did this from the software, and just, right, you might have the game pads that you can get for Pocket Pennant Run Baseball, and just roll your own dice and play Pocket Pennant Run just as a pure cards and dice game. And there you go. There's all their cards and all that kind of stuff for everybody. Pitchers have their own cards, of course, and it even gives you some places to put in some, like extra players, whatever, maybe some outliers. So you don't have to pay for outliers, and the reason being is because they're all in here. This thing has a massive, massive, massive database. You can see here. So baseball from 1920 to 2025, historical Major League Baseball from 1871 to 1919. All the Negro Leagues are in here. The All American Girls Professional Baseball League. You got 26 seasons of AAA baseball, one season of NCAA one, which I don't care about that. A Japanese baseball from 1950, and you also have 25 seasons of Korean baseball. And you can mix and match any of these to make your own teams. So you can also create an Excel workbook thing, close this, replay any two games in history. So you could play the 1984 Detroit Tigers against the 1949 Rockford Peaches if you really wanted to do that. This is an extra. This is pretty cool. This is the Baseball HQ app. This is I just moved you guys. There we go. Thank you. This is written by Paul Fay, who's the play tester of. This is huge, and you're going to be seeing lots of stuff happening with this. And I don't have a season right now to do that, but this is super super deep, super super deep. Let's see if I remember this. I keep forgetting to. There we go. So this is included now with Pocket Pennant Run Baseball, and the things that you can do in here. This will work with any baseball game too. Any baseball game. Check out FAC Sports Desk with Paul, and you will get super super in-depth tutorials for using this. So this works seamlessly both with Digital Diamond Baseball and with Pocket Pennant Run Baseball. Create new leagues. It's got a scheduler on it. You can do customized reports. You can edit players, add players. You can bulk edit rosters. More to come in this, by the way. All here. You can do recalc on stats, fixing gameplay. It's crazy what you can do with this thing. You can upload schedules. It's got a box score editor. $14.99 if you buy the print and play version of this. You get this incredible, mind-boggling amount of baseball. Can you tell I love this game? So it's good that somebody asked. It was Crusader asking about Pocket Pennant Run Baseball, because I think that Richard Dombrov again has an excellent baseball game. But I think if you look at this game and you look at Dombrov baseball, I think you're going to be more apt to say, well, yeah, that one has the real ballpark pictures, but I can figure out what to do. Sim a game between saved teams where those saved team times. There, you can make teams. You can make teams. Just do what you want. So the Pocket Pennant Run National League, these were created. Paul just did these. You just create these right from the database. You get their basic, ratings for Pocket Pennant Run Baseball. But let's say I load in. I don't have a season here to do, so let's do one right now. Let's add a team just to show you what else this does. So add a team from the league database. Let's click the so for Cousin Ken here, we'll do this. 1980 and Philadelphia Phillies. And again, you can print the cards for these. There's nothing extra you have to buy. Boom. And then add. Okay, successfully added. I go here, 1980 Philadelphia Phillies, load them. You get the proper logo, and there's their stats. And they give you their formula down here. I don't know where else for a commercial product you're going to be able to get this, it can be what you want it to be, a board game companion. You can play it as a digital game. You can do it does great stat tracking. You want to do some just quick research on players and teams and stuff like that without having to leave the game and fire up Baseball Reference or Baseball Almanac or Retro Sheet or whatever. It's here. 200,000 as played games, all that stuff. This is great stuff. Great stuff. Richard, you have some great stuff there, but you got to figure. Look at Strat still up there. It wants me to play. Not tonight, Strat. That does it. So I do want to thank Richard Dombrov for an amazing game. I do. And you guys will see. We are going to do a game of it this weekend on Sunday. Super Bowl baseball shenanigans. Don't know what time I'll be on, guys, but we'll be on through the afternoon, evening, late night. We'll be on as long as there's somebody in here, because I got to break Dwayne Martz's streaming record. Got to do it, man. Just got to do it. There he is. So got right there, M. Holland, if you're still in here, the guy that just came in here now, Fast Action Cards Sports Desk. Paul, I found some things out from Dombrov you might want to look at, maybe that I think could work really well with this. But Crusader asked about Pocket Pennant Run, and M. Holland here, new member of the family, was asking about Pocket Pennant Run, so I just gave him the dime tour. and I hope that he will at least pony up to $14.99 and buy it because it's great. And I showed him some of the sexiness of the Baseball HQ, but also people should always go to your site for the great in-depth tutorials on that because it's fucking incredible. And I finally read the updates. I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. Thank you for sending me. I'm gobsmacked at what's planned for 2026 for this and for Baseball HQ. Holy moly! You know what? If Craig raised the price, and I was coming into this and made this now $24.99, $34.99, I would buy it. And I'm not a rich man. I would buy it. I'm going to make a prediction that if all goes well by the end of 2026, this is going to be definitely S tier, and I would I would with no hesitation place this along with baseball games that have been out forever and ever and ever and ever. Just been testing it, working perfectly. Yeah, man, really excited about it. Really, really excited. I mean, just unbelievable. But yeah, I was just banging out a quick game here, and I love this game so much, man. I just love it. But Dombrov baseball could be such a great, and it is a great game. Just fix the damn interface, and you're good. Paul, could I ask you just in public here really quickly? Is there any chance? Oh, you are welcome, M Holland. Call me Beatles, man. Call me Beatles, and you are welcome. Pocketpendantrun.com. Just because I know you're going to run here, but I'm going to bring up their website regardless because this is also best damn card stock of any baseball game I know of. And these guys really, just really talk about the love of the project. And so there's really quick here, man, before you go, if you have a second, they're the specs. You can take a screenshot. 316,000 players. 200. This is 316,000 unique players. It's not like, one player, we're counting Babe Ruth, who had, 22-year career, that he is 22 of those players. He's one of 316,000 players. 222,000 game schedules and 196,000 games with as-played lineups. This is a replayer's dream right there. That score sheet generator, I know you like that already. Printing cards, you got Excel sheet generators, team and lineup creators, the game simulator, which we've already seen, Excel stats, the Baseball HQ, which needs to be added in here. I hope that they'll do that too, Paul. Card generators. There's all the databases that we've shown. And let's go to the shop so you can see. So there's the print and play PDF that I was talking about. $14.99. This gives you access to the software you just saw. Free lifetime upgrades. I went all in and I bought the physical game along with these mats, which look really cool because you don't have to pull out any cards. It's a really handsome product. Everything's right there. There's your rare plays and all of that kind of stuff. Just to support what Craig and Matt are doing. Paul doesn't make a penny from this, by the way. I should also add that. It also has scorebooks. I didn't bother buying those because I don't do that stuff. But there it is. And this game is $20. Or no, this is the mat. I'm sorry, just the mat's $20. But they're nice neoprene mats. Nice neoprene mat. And I don't get a penny from them either, by the way. Cheap bastards. Shit. More game crafter here. That's not where I want to be. I want to be in the physical game. There it is. There's the base game coming up. $24.99. Look at that. That's nice. And it is. This will fit in the palm of your hand, literally. This card stock is very good, high end. Yeah, neither does Craig, right? I know nobody's making a penny from this. This is high end card stock equivalents like Cardamundi or from U.S. playing card companies. So like their marquee brands like Tally Ho, B, World Poker Tour cards. That's how good the card stock is here in this game. And again, so whether it's the print and play or the physical game, you get access to the Pocket Pennant Run software in perpetuity, or until Paul stops being a wanker, one of the two. So both are in perpetuity, actually. All right, now I am rabbiting. Paul, you'll be surprised. You'll be proud. The first hour of this was actually focused. That's a rare thing for me. So I think I'm going to actually go offline here. I'm going to play a game of Pocket Pennant Run, like whole 9 innings, man. What are you bollocks? What are you bollocks? See you fancy a jam see again, do you? Oh my God. Saw you on Matthew Street doing some strange things one time I was there. So just saying. No, Paul's a great guy. Paul really deserves a lot of credit for how this game has evolved from what it was. And when I was installing new things in this computer and I was on my Google Drive, I saw like Helix and Lenny. And someday I'm going to bring those up just so you guys can see where this has come from. Maybe we'll do it Sunday. New version this week. Nice. Can't wait. And HQ. Wow. Okay. I've PayPal is already PayPal'd you, and got you a couple of nice bidders from home too. So I know it's been a while. So guys, thank you for hanging out. And again, Dombrov baseball, very good base. And if you like it, if you get the free thing for me at beta, woo baby. I know, I understand, I get it, which means I won't show it on the channel either. But thank you. I know I will keep it quiet. I'm Irish and Italian, yeah. So, guys, do me a bit. Do me maybe a little good turn. If you're even remotely interested in Dombrov baseball, try the free version, and then get on the Delphi forums, because there's a link right in the game, and say, this, I would buy this if you'd fix the interface. I think if people would say, fix the interface and I'll buy it, maybe that would be the impetus for the developer to do it, because it's really fine, deep baseball sandbox. Dombrov baseball. Okay. Paul's going to watch this stream now. I'm going to be bored to death, buddy. Not with the first hour, because you'll learn about Dombrov baseball, but with the rest of it, because you already know this game. All right. You have Dombrov because of me. Dombrov's not bad, man. They just got to fix the interface. Shit. Save you a seat for Sunday's festivities, please. Grandstand, buddy, right behind home plate. Paul will be here. We're going to put Paul out in the bleachers since he's a Cubs fan. He's our bleachers bum. Okay, guys. Till the next time, see you around the batting cage. M. Holland, come back. Be a member of the family. This is not about subscribing. It's about being a member of the family. All right. Catch you guys around the batting cage. Good night.